What's up, folks? Just coming back from Justin's heated Telegram chat. Wow, we went through a lot of good stuff there. But I wanted to do this one because I really wanted to make sure I got this out before I forget about it. But, you know, when it comes to being a good person or doing what is good or being virtuous, many times we create an idea of virtue and we try to become it. We create an ideal for virtue. Instead of looking at the non virtuousness or the unvirtuousness of the act right now, we try to create an idea outside of the now and call that virtue. So, a big caveat to virtue is trying to be virtuous. That has to be really examined. You have to ask yourself, what is the intention behind this virtuousness? Why am I trying to be virtuous, right? And so if you really go to the heart of that, it's like, is real virtuousness trying to be virtuous at all? Is one who is actually virtuous in his action, does he need to have an ideal of virtue, or does he live it? So I think it's these kinds of questions we need to start asking: is who is virtuous? Who is the one trying to be virtuous? And is there a one trying to gain something from being virtuous? If what I'm saying makes sense. So again, we have to examine the intentions, right? I think real goodness has a quality of being unintentional. That when you're doing something good, right, if there's an intent behind doing something good, there's a reward in it. And that immediately involves the self and the aggrandizing of the self. So even if there is a reward, putting it in its right place, right? So putting the self and the reward ridden part of it in its right place. Because at some point, it's not about myself, it's about it's good. The good removes the self innately. That's what compassion is, right? That's what humility is. So it's these kinds of things, I think. So again, it's tough to say that one can try to intentionally be good. Because again, if you try to intentionally with the left brain motivated reward punishment consciousness mechanical robot rationed out calculation, I think there's a limit to that. So there's a limit to my intention. I can only intend so much. And all of the problems lie in intention as well. Like all the problems that arise out of my malintentions. And so there it is. You have to look at malintention, the limits of intention. So at some point, perhaps magic is unintentional. That any magic with intention is seeking a reward, seeking a gain. It's some kind of a blood sacrifice type ritual, essentially, right? So I think, again, real pure magic has no intention. It just is. It's not seeking to be anything. So I think we have to. I guess you can't wrestle with it, but you have to bring your mind there and think about that. That the mind's intentions is what is the common denominator to ruining it all. And so, what lies behind intent? is the mean. So the intent is all of my identifications, all of my purpose, all of my reason, all of my attachments to the past for not changing things now. That's the intention. The intention of it all is the subjectivity or bias. So the thing is, it's like once you see the limit to intention, and again, you're just acting unintentional, there is still an act. So there is still an intention that arises out of no intention. So just because we say thought is limited doesn't mean we eradicate thought altogether. That really the key is clearing the intention or clearing the thought, which means facing it. And most people don't want to face their own intentions. That's another big thing, is no one wants to examine why I want things, why I have certain reactions for things. People don't want to examine their motives. People don't want to see who they are deep down below and what's really motivating them at a not just at a surface level, but more at one's core and one's emotion and all of these things. And this is where memory comes in, because it's like intention is based off of memory. It's based off of a being that had a memory. So it's about not letting memory get in the way. It doesn't mean suppressing it. It means acknowledging the memory and then moving on. Because the memory is the one who wants to hold on, right? So when you can love the memory, you can let it go. And so when you can love the intention, right? A for effort, I love the effort, but let it go. To me, that is flow. Because a flow or a movement of flow is absent of resistance of intention. So the flow is entirely unintentional. If I tried to add a motive to my flow, I wouldn't be in the flow. So it's these kinds of things. And at the same time, I am not the flow. That's, I think, also key to understand. That when the I is clear and out of the way, there is flow. So it doesn't mean that we kill the I. Doesn't mean I can't have a physical body, but I see the limitations that is presented with that physical body, with those memories, with that problem-ridden consciousness. And it's also this kind of a thing. So really what we're doing, intentional magic, right? Or magic with the wrong intention, what are we doing? It's a cover-up. Because as long as I hold on to the existence of my intentional magic that's doing good, I don't have to deal with the evil. It's a form of philanthropy, like or charity, right? It's a form of superficially treating the problem. So that's what happens when there's a misdirection, which is a out of balance intention. Yeah, that's why I have a tough time listening to a lot of the manifestation speakers, because again, I think anything that is repetitive is violence to the brain. You're trying to look at the world in a way with such a heavy intention. So again, when you let go of the effort, and you let go of the effort of the I, and you let go of the need to have an intention, the flow no longer validates your purpose. So being unintentional is also not being needed to be validated, because only validation requires something that you do, like when seeking validation requires that you do something with intention, right? If you're doing things totally unintentional, there's no sense of I'm trying to seek others' approval in doing it. So again, that's why I think allegories, parables, metaphors, their power lies in their direct indirectness. Because again, if there was an intention involved, there would be conflict. So explaining something indirectly is explaining something without conflict. But it's directly, indirectly explaining it, right? Because we all know what we're talking about. So, and that's the big thing, is no one wants to face the problem directly. No one wants to face the intention. Because the moment we bring up the intention, it gets awkward. So when movement is natural, again, I don't think, when a movement is magical, I don't think there's any intention. Even with love, there really is no intention. If you love something, you really don't have a choice. Now, just because you love something doesn't mean you can't let go of it. In fact, I think loving something is the ability or the space or the freedom to let go of it. And if you're not letting go of it, then that is your intention, and that intention gets in between love, real love. So I think perhaps love is entirely unintentional. Again, if there was an intention or a measurement of trying to be in love, that would be not love. That when I see something I truly love, I can't intentionally not love it or intentionally love it. I just love. And there is no need to explain it out in an intention, if that makes sense. So again, a lot of people are waving a magical illusion in front of themselves of intention, and never once saying, what if these intentions are lopsided, unbalanced? What if the very intention of trying to change how things are is the state of being not balanced? So again, don't do magic to try to balance. When you are in balance, you will do magic. It's that kind of a thing, So I'll just leave you guys with food one more time, right? It's like, I don't eat right because I want to prove anything. I eat right because I have to. You have to. There is no other option. And this literally gets to the root of intention, because when you're eating, that is all intention. Malicious or ancient, natural, and good. So all of our acts are prayers. All of our acts are castings of intention. So our action is intention. But action must arise from seeing that the action, the intention is limited. You see what I'm saying? And when you see the action and intention, or the verb or the communication is limited, you can communicate something that is, that is tough to communicate. You can communicate something nonverbal. You can communicate things that are tough to communicate with just words. That is magic. the ability to say something that is very difficult to be said. And the reason why you're saying it is because it's not tough to say it, but because it's natural. Yeah, it's amazing to just think about intention alone. It's such a loaded word. And so, again, with food and with intention, I leave you guys humbly. Keep asking the questions, right? Right before I go, last thing I'll say, keep asking those questions. The question is the only thing that will uncover the intent. The question is the origin of humility. Because without humility, no one can ask a question. And if you can't ask the question, then you're stuck. So ask the question, what is my intention for this magic? And if I am, why am I observing a method? I have to talk about that, okay. Method. Can magic be a method? Again, an intentional practice, right? Can magic be a repetitive memorization process? Can you memorize magic? Or is magic something that defies anything you can memorize? What if magic is not a process that can be obtained in time? What if magic is outside and defies time altogether? Wouldn't that be counterintuitive to a method? That a magic can't be tied down to a method. It is so magical. If you could just repeat it with a method, you would take all the magic out of it.